Okay, I did not think I was going to be making a proper new Lost Caverns of Ixalan inspired deck at all. None of the commanders jumped out at me. I've talked about this before. But even though this is not a new commander, I do think this is a Lost Caverns of Ixalan inspired build. So, I was looking at the new cards, and I kept seeing a theme in Boros tapping down permanents as a cost for activation effects. This is really cool. So instead of saying, I tap to do something, or I spend mana to do something, it's, I tap my neighbor to do something. And sometimes they can tap their neighbor or themselves. We've seen this effect before. This is not a new effect, but it's a very cool effect, and there's a lot of new cards going into this thing. Why this is really cool for me is because I have been meaning to build Augusta Dean of Order for a long time. Augusta Dean of Order is a card that I really think is cool. It is the backside of Plarg Dean of Chaos, which is this, you can cast it on either side, whatever you want to do. I want to do Augusta Dean of Order. Augusta has this effect where whenever you attack with a specific trigger, you have to make sure you're attacking with at least one creature for it to go off. Whenever you attack, Augusta will untap all of your creatures, and then you may choose to tap as many as you wish. This compounds with her static ability of all of your untapped creatures have extra toughness, and all of your tapped creatures have extra offense power. This means that effectively, you've given all of your creatures vigilance. Kind of. More than that, you've given them super vigilance because you can tap them and then untap them via this effect. Not just attack with them and then untap them with effect. Originally, I was trying to build this sort of like vigilance matters, you want to be attacking kind of deck. And the reason for that is because I have that deck. I have a blue-white Guaher deck, which gives all your birds vigilance, and it's a bird deck that's all about taking advantage of having vigilance. And especially since Guaher gives you this sub-theme of birds, you get to do some really cool stuff with that. I love that deck, it's cool. So when I was building Augusta, I guess I'll put in as much stuff as I can that cares about this. I don't know, it was too vague. I didn't really feel like I had enough stuff, which meant instead I kept like adding extra sub-themes, and then it ended up getting bloated. It was a whole thing. I didn't like it. So, I see these new cards, and they want me to tap down my other creatures to pay for effects, and then I can untap those creatures. Now it's not about the vigilance mattering, it's just about the fact that we can use their bodies for certain effects, and then untap them all, either to just have blockers until the next turn, or to activate those effects another time. So, I just started collecting cards. I went, okay, Scryfall, what can do this sort of effect? And in no time, I had kind of a full deck, and a lot of them are new cards from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. So it feels like a new set-based deck, even though it's an old commander, but an old commander that didn't get a lot of use. I'm excited. I can't believe how quickly this deck came together. It definitely needs some work. Do not get me wrong, but it's 100 cards. I threw a bunch of cards into the deck, went, I can add like 30 some odd lands, and I was at 100. I didn't do any cuts. Do I need to do some cuts? Yes, because I haven't really added like mana rocks and removal and interaction and protection and blah, 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 all the boring stuff that you just kind of have to have in Commander, which, I don't know, maybe I just won't. Maybe I'll just like do my own thing and hope you don't mess with me. Sometimes you can do that. Just as a treat, you can just do your own thing and not pack a bunch of interactions. This isn't competitive. I mean, unless you're playing competitive, because you're not using one of my builds. But like, you don't need to, you know? You gotta run protection and interaction stuff when you're trying to win as fast as you can, like you do in Constructed. But like, I'm not trying to win as fast as I can in Commander. That's not my goal. So I don't know. I probably will, but like, you don't gotta. Anyway, let me show you the final list after whatever tinkering I decide to do. I don't know I don't know if I'm gonna make any changes, but if I do, they have happened between now and this list I'm about to show you. So, take a look at Augusta Dean of Order, double tapped. Hey everyone who got to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed. We're trying a bunch of different stuff here. The format's way different this time than any of the other Bits Brews so far. Let me know what you think. I think this is probably the best one so far. It's short and sweet and does a better job at presenting the cards, even though I don't get into the nitty-gritty of each one. I don't talk about how, like, Total War is this weird old card that causes everyone to have to attack or their stuff dies, and it keys off of not actually if you attacked, but only if your stuff that didn't attack is untapped. So we can use Augusta to, like, tap down all those things. And it actually completely changes the way you play the game, where, like, at first you're trying to leave up all your blockers by using Augusta, and then later you're just tapping everything down every turn. I really didn't get into, like, much of the game at all. The gameplay is largely pingers, which is kind of cool. A lot of people want to, like, tap and do a thing. Some people just whenever they get tapped, they ping, and then you can tap them with your other tappers, and then you can untap everybody and do it again. And it's a really cool deck, and I really didn't get into how it played. So let me know if that's the sort of thing you miss, or if you just kind of want to see the process, and then, well, you can take a look at the cards and figure it out yourself. I got another Bits Brews in the process right now. I'm really excited about it. It's another one of these, like, spontaneous decks that just kind of came together on accident. It's probably going to be most of these for a while. Going out of your way to build the deck is just way less fun, it turns out. Actually just being inspired, like it's an artistic thing, which I kind of think deck building is. Anyway, I'm doing a little bit too much shop talk right now, so have a good night, everyone. I'll catch you next time.